especially for a small event. There's some.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's to keep it keep it, kind of close.
Intimate.
So I'm wondering if this area is more likely to do that. Okay, so what we will do is I will now do a print, and I am going to share and drop a print.
Ooh.
Okay, so this is the starting one. Oh,
Fantastic.
yep. Luke is just joining us.
Good. Yay.
And so that
So
is the
clever.
first. Yeah, and
Good
so that's
job.
why I did that, because that's why, like, when we were there at the previous place, I would show slides on a screen because, of course, at work that's what I was used to. But now, Bunny Warrior! Oh my God, I haven't seen Bunny Warrior in a long time. There we go.
Hey.
So that's cool. Oh, maybe I should go, just double check. I should go orange at some point, but just to make sure. In case people are, and then I'll also change this to leading an event, I thought. Yes. Leading an event. Yes. Hey there.
Join
How's
us.
it going?
What's happening?
Oh, it's I'm leading an event.
Visible.
Oh, apologies for that.
No,
do
don't
I need to
worry.
leave?
If you'd like to participate,
Hang
that's
out.
great.
I'm Paul.
You say
Hi
you're
there.
Paul?
Paul.
Paul?
Or
Paul?
Paul.
Oh, okay.
Paul.
Paul. Okay.
Hey, how you doing?
There's Lucas. Hey, fantastic.
welcome.
So
Yay.
we've got that. So what I thought, like, instead of doing, we were talking about the last time I did an event. We had it in this big hall where I could share slides on a screen. But the thing was, is that it got to be like overwhelmingly huge for like about 5 or 6 people. Okay. to have it. So that's why we kind of now go to prints. Okay. And just to let everybody know, we are live streaming. Okay. So like, just so that people don't feel that they're caught off guard with that. So that's what we've got here. Then the next print that I want to make available is no, not print camera. Come on. What is this? Okay, back to this. Okay, prints. And not that one, not that one. That one. That's a share print. The Frofador's here. Happy day. Okay, there we go.
Hey.
And okay, so here we have BridgeMaker's values. Hi there. So now I'm just going to say that it is 3:02, probably in one more minute, just to like, I think Scott might be showing up. I'm not sure. And then we might, but we just started off that way. Anyway, I hope everybody's having a good day. At least at
Better
the start.
because you're here.
Oh, yes, of course.
Way to take that.
Way to take that. Yes, of course it is. What the heck? I have a trail of awesome to,
You do. You leave the sparkles in your wake wherever you go. We're all charging off Ronin time there.
There's a marching song to that, I'm pretty sure.
You need to make one. It's a Ronin marching song.
What we'll do is we'll just start it off. Like, this is just kind of a get together, have a talk, about things. But really, it's to help introduce BridgeMakers to people who might not be aware of it, and those who are in BridgeMakers, just to have that very relaxing moment to just sit down and discuss something about what it means to connect with other people, and how we can make that kind of easier on ourselves, but also kind of realizing that we also have to be a little braver in certain cases for that. So when we talk about like the BridgeMaker values here, which is, our group, and by the way, I should point out, Heya is the leader of the BridgeMakers group. So just to make sure that.
And Mary is also.
And Mary, sorry, absolutely. Core leader, absolutely. So here we've got human first. So the idea being is we're all human first. We're not sitting here trying to become, call it the perfect ideal of what it is that we think others think we should be. So it's a very important thing to be human, and to make sure that we are addressing that. Iteration, which means nobody's perfect and nothing is perfect, and so every time we do something, if we can try to make it better, but realize that when we try to improve something, we make it different at the same time. So it's actually something that we keep in mind with that. Kindness, which is about trying to be, it's not just about being nice to somebody so that you don't have conflict. Sometimes it is about conflict. And sometimes it is about talking to somebody to help them, not just to sort of say, well, this is the way the world goes. But at the same time, kindness is also supposed to be that longer range viewpoint of how we interact with people. Oh, hi, Casey.
Hello.
It's good to see you. Okay, Casey, I think you're on Android right now. I'm just double checking. Can you see the print?
I think, yeah.
Okay. So it just says that it's there. Oh, and also, Casey, just to let you know, we are live streaming at this moment. Okay, and we're just going over the BridgeMaker values.
Mm-hmm.
In that case, I'll just say, human first, iteration, kindness. We were talking about kindness as being more than just being nice. Okay, it isn't just about in fact, it sometimes conflicts with being nice at times. So, and then stewardship, which really means to say that, we're taking care, we're thinking of the broader sense of what we're doing, and it's not about, a form of transaction that we're all, set with. And then the last bit is transparency. And that, like, as an example, our live streaming is a form of transparency. We're making sure that, we are doing things that you can understand, that you can see, or at least you can see all the way through. And if you have a question, you then have to kind of be able to ask that question. And you have to know enough to do that. So that's key with transparency, is being able to do that. So, having started that, we'll start with and by the way, I'm not really doing kind of an agenda here, but I am kind of saying we have to kind of start somewhere. So I'm starting with things like these slides. Okay, sorry. And here is the next one, which is bridging generations. Sorry. Oh, and if you want to, you can move in closer or take a look at the slide as well, just to take a look at it. But the thing here is that for generations, what I kind of thought is that, I'm an old person. Okay, I'm gonna say it simply. Okay, like I'm a pretty old person in that case, and I deal with a lot, especially in VR chat. I deal with a lot of people who are a lot younger than me. Okay, like by decades. I should point that out. Okay, and it's not that's not a small thing. So this was something I came across at work. I would be like, I was a leader, call it at just about at the age of 50. Oh, sorry, Frofador. I didn't mean to, yeah, you should be able to see that. But at the age of 50, I was a leader of a small group, and we were specialists in doing things. I should point out, when I started off as a leader, most of the people were about my age. So, which, you know, made things a little more understood how we could do things. But at the same time, we started getting younger and younger people into the group that I was in. And I feel like, as I try to make that sit, I feel like I wasn't quite connecting. And at times, what I was thinking, I was talking about, they understood, but they seem to have understood differently, which is a little bit odd, I'm sure. So what I did was I kind of looked at some materials. One of them was a handout that they gave us on generational differences. Like, why are boomers so different to the, you know, let's call it the Gen Y and Gen X's and Gen Z's. Okay? Like, and I thought that was really neat, but all it did was it explained it to me. It didn't actually give me a connection. So one of the new grads, you know, somebody straight out of university, had joined my group, and I just sort of said, okay, let's take a couple of hours and sit down, have a meeting, and just spend some time talking about, you know, how things touched our lives. And I think this is the one. Yes, exactly. So, I asked the question, what was the most impactful global event that affected you? Okay. And kind of at that time, it was actually the first time that a global event felt like it impacted you. Like, when you almost took a look at it from the view of, you know, before it happened, the world was this way. And after it happened, the world was that way. It felt like it had been something that changed you, not just something that, you know, it really didn't matter. It was big, but it really still didn't matter. So, you know what? I'm going to just offer that out to people here. What, like, if you don't mind sharing, is there something that has impacted you as a person, as a global event? Sorry, there's a phone ringing.
You have a landline, Ronin. I mean,
yes,
like,
I have
wow.
a landline.
Talk about bridging across the ages. Yay.
Yes,
I
exactly.
have to defend Ronin there. I also have a landline, and I'm pretty young.
Do? Yay! Okay, good. It hasn't died completely.
Why is it landline, if I may ask? Kind of stupid.
Oh, Mary has one too. Keep it alive.
Oh, you mean the phone is
It has a cord. Yeah, so like, there's this cord that goes all the way into the wall, and you have to stay there. Okay, you do have.
Yeah, we have a house. Yeah, but the problem is I never used phones in my life, because I don't know much about them. Yes, yeah.
Okay.
That's probably a good thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
I'm going to put it out there. So, like, does anybody want to just share? Say you don't. It does. Like, this is a hard question because it probably is something you might not have thought about before. But
Oh, I've definitely thought about this.
okay, all right. Let's. Okay.
Mary has too.
Mary wants to. Mary's gonna.
Are you gonna type or talk? You're gonna
I have
type.
to type my
Okay.
answer. Okay, that's fine.
Would anybody like to dramatically narrate Mary's typing? So everybody can
What
hear
to
it.
put this down to, but I
Oh.
noticed a shift where friends stopped
Yeah.
hanging out in person and started, only spending time online. Okay.
That's such
Yeah.
a that's such a real
Yeah.
one.
Together.
That is
yeah.
like not necessarily one big event, but it's just a change in how humans connect to each other.
That happened to me. I
Yeah.
don't have friends in real life.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Gaming together used to be on one sofa. Yeah.
Ah, look at this. Yeah.
So multiplayer
couch
on like
gaming.
Xbox or PSP. Yeah.
GameCube.
It's like,
era was legit.
Yeah, it's like
GameCube, yes.
different screens for different characters or something, one
Yes.
TV or whatever. I don't know, the split screen? I think, I don't know.
Okay, that's cool.
Or even like split screen. They don't even offer split screen in most games anymore.
No.
Yeah, it's
You're right.
mostly it's online.
They're
They're not optimized enough.
I mean, never had
Sometimes,
it
yeah.
because I don't have friends. I'm lonely.
But yeah, okay. It still exists, but yes, exactly. You're right. And so like that's actually so as a global event, that's kind of like a technological thing where it just got to be so convenient to do things online. Games stopped doing that and people stopped doing that. And I think you're right that there was a point at which you would all be like crushed together on a sofa or in front of the TV with friends and doing that. And that's cool.
Yeah.
Okay. That's
Or
one
LAN
thing.
parties, that too.
Yep. LAN
Because-
parties. Yes,
yeah.
exactly.
The-
Bring your the old Doom Unreal Tournament.
Yeah,
with
bring your
some of
whole
this
ass
stuff.
PC with you and then
Well,
break
yes,
it
yeah,
accidentally.
What?
True.
I didn't know that happened. That's
Oh man,
amazing.
people used to have huge parties. They'd get all their PCs together in one house.
What?
LAN
Yeah.
parties sounded amazing.
Yeah.
I wish I
I've
could go to
never
one.
heard
yeah.
of this. That's
There's
really
scams.
interesting.
People duct
Oh,
I
if you
only
ever look
LAN
it up,
parties
you
with
might
my
find
dad.
that.
Okay.
Oh. Like,
Yeah.
Mary
scam
lives with his
party.
dad, but he's like, I have
Yeah.
LAN parties.
Dude, the
You ever see
scam
that
part of LAN
picture?
parties is bring your PC accidentally because you need to bring that thing completely over there. That's scary.
Oh yeah, you have
If
to
I-
bring your monitor and everything. That's right. I
Yeah,
remember.
if that breaks, a
Wow.
lot of money gone.
Am I
There's
the
that
only one that?
picture of the guy who like duct taped himself to the ceiling just so he could fit in the room? with
I never
everyone
did
and
LAN
keep playing
parties, I just know a
online?
lot about them. Don't worry about it.
You're all working too
the
hard,
only
but I
one
love it.
that
That's
took
so
the Game Boy
interesting.
to Am I the only one that took the Game Boy to a friend's house and then connected them with their link cable, so you had to sit like within a meter of each other because the cable wasn't long enough?
Pokemon.
And then
Oh my
Like,
god.
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
technically
Like,
What?
I 3DS.
Oh my
I really love
god.
later
3DS
the
in the
D-
days.
And then the later Game
Instead
Boys
of
had
the
IR
floor is
thing.
lava, it's the floor is cords,
Yes,
basically.
exactly.
The
Oh,
cord wasn't long,
but
so you had
quite
to
the
sit
same.
like,
But I remember carrying 2 PCs through town to bring them to a game event.
Wow.
OMG,
Yeah, good time.
that's incredible.
Oh,
See, when there's
Dude.
conventions, there's like rows and rows and rows of people. Personal
Yeah.
I've
computers.
seen that, but I can't imagine getting into a living room and instead of it being like, let's build a fort with the couch cushions, it's like, let's build towers of computers and all sit there ignoring each other. It's like, wow.
Mm.
That's incredible. But
Yeah.
okay, so that's a
We digress.
great example. That's a great example. So, but does anybody else have another example? Oh, hey, it does. Hey, it does. His bursting.
Yes. Yeah. So, your question was, to make sure I got it, was there an event that happened in your life where it joined you with the wider society? It changed how the experience of time happens. Like
Yep.
now there was a
Okay.
new awareness. Is that kind
Mhm.
of what you're asking?
Yeah, that you know what? Go with that. Let's go with that. Okay.
So it was 9/11, And it was a moment where I got on the bus to go to work, and the bus driver turns to me and says, "We're at war." And I hadn't seen anything. We didn't even have a TV in the house I was in. So, like, to have the bus driver like crying and looking at me and saying, "We're at war," was just like, wait, what is happening? And then I got on the bus and everybody's talking, and then it took 2 hours to get to work. And that's when I was able to turn on a television and see this coverage. And it was this moment of realizing, like, we can be so shocked in life that we stop holding all our roles and we just talk as if we're all in the same living room together, kind of thing. And yeah, I remember even going downtown on my lunch break into the living room square of the city where people just gathered, and there were just many dozens of people sitting there and staring up at the sky, and these fighter jets were flying across the sky, trying to protect us. You know, everybody was on high alert. And it was just such a moment of going, it will never be like it was. This is different.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
I completely get that. I will say I was, believe it or not, I was actually, at the time, I was partly an IT, pricing IT person in the company I was working with, but then as well, I was the futures, not trader, but the advisor on it. And at my company, because I worked for a petroleum company. And at that time, I saw the Bloomberg headlines come across my data terminal of what was happening. And then, but more importantly, my wife called me at work and said, "There's a plane that crashed into the Twin Towers." And I said, "What? No. Oh, okay. Well, you know, I thought, oh, it's like a Cessna or a Piper Cub, or, you know, one of those, it was a full-on, what was it, 737, I think. And when I was able to hear about this, like, you're right, life forever changed over at that point, where you started, and then the second one, and then the Pentagon, and you know, you just realized that life was therefore forever changed in a way that you couldn't do. And yet, you know, and actually I'd asked my friend who, you know, or rather my teammate who was I was asking about, I said, "But what about 9/11? They said, "Well, you know, they were pretty young. They understood it was bad, but it didn't have an impact on them. And because they didn't understand it at that moment, they couldn't. And so it didn't. And so that was pretty interesting on that. So thank you, Heya. That actually really answers the question in a big way. So I'll put it out there. What about others here in that case? And again, it's about you and the impact of that, not about
how big
the
it
event
is
itself,
in the world.
how big it is in the world. It's about how it impacted you.
Yeah. Mm.
What do you think? What do you think, Lucas?
I probably have to say the obvious, but COVID. It messed with my final exams for my studies, and
yeah,
it was just dark times.
Absolutely. Very true. Very true.
No one knew what to do. I was one of the first ones to be infected, so no one really knew what to do. So I got the full 2 months quarantine bullshit.
Whoa.
Oh my god.
Oh my
God.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Did you know at the time, did you feel like at the time it was bullshit, or later on you realized that torture wasn't necessary?
It was always bullshit, because I was infected one of the first. I kind of felt it, yep, but then all vaccination mandatory bullshit. like the vaccinations hurt more and like did I think more damage than the actual virus did to me.
Yeah, same here.
Because I got sick after each one, like really, really sick.
Yeah, really sick. Yeah, me too.
Before that, I barely felt it. But the main problem was it messed with the whole schedule. It messed with my final exams for my further studies. Because like one or the other day was like, yeah, final exams are paused for a month, so they were shifted back, and then 6 months, then a year, and then basically I wrote my final exam a year after it should have been.
Wow.
Wow.
Oh,
Problem is
God.
my apprenticeship was running out, so and I accepted a new job already, thinking I had the degree, but I didn't. That was like bullshit times.
Oh no. Oh no. That's horrible.
Yes.
And yeah, absolutely.
But the whole world was crazy.
Yeah.
So
absolutely, completely true.
because I was
never
one of
had
the
too much
mandatory
problems.
workers. Yeah, I was one of the mandatory workers as maintenance personnel. Because back then I still was maintenance. Because didn't have my degree, like I said. And it was so weird just driving through the city and there was no one. It was the only car, or like there were 2 cars out there. There was fucking no one. You had to have like a waiver thing so the police would even let you drive to work. Like a little thing that said, yeah, you have to be at work. Like,
Yep, essential services.
like before that, no one would have believed that something like that is possible. And I think if I'm the old one that still tells the stories, no one will believe us. It's like, yeah,
Right.
back in the day, like the entire world basically shut down for a virus that ended up being normal now. Because it's still around, but no one talks about it.
I was gonna say, what about this new one that's coming out? I've heard people saying
A
it's
Hunter?
way worse.
Yeah, Hunter,
Yeah,
Hunter virus
Hunter-
is
well,
old.
yeah. There's hantavirus has been around. The fact is that they're not quite sure about the origin. Sorry, you know what? I'm not a doctor, so I really can't give much in the way of discussion on that. But I will end up saying it's supposed to primarily be transferred from rodent to human, not from human to human. That's technically what that is supposed to be happening. I think there's
So
a
it's
little
like the Black
uncertainty.
Plague, kind of.
Yeah, sort of. Essentially, but the Black Plague is from the lice. Sorry, the cruise ship one was airborne between humans. Oh, okay. I thought
hear
that's
it's under better containment than COVID is, though. I don't think it'll be a pandemic again.
I don't
It
think
is
so either.
Highly
But
contagious
it isn't
right now,
native.
but it spread on one of the cruise ships, and it transferred out of there too at some point.
yeah.
I was
And
on a plane that had it.
So
But
North
the whole
America,
plane didn't
big time. Yeah, North America has often a hunter big time. And I really, again, I got to be careful because I'm not a doctor and I'm not the kind of epidemiologist that could talk about it. But I seem to recall that that's why, we think it's airborne between humans. The problem is that ships have mice and rats as well, whether we know it or not. It's not the world's greatest thing. And the fact is that as I recall, Hunter was actually originally in North America. It's about transferring from not human to human, but from rodent to human. That's what's supposed to be the case. And yeah, the plague is carried by the lice of the rodents more than it is by the rodents itself. But it's an interesting thing when you get into how disease in that case works. But yeah, you're right. We all worry about that.
But,
okay, so I'll just stop.
Since we talked about like 9/11, I can basically tell you what happened in Europe. Okay, 9/11 was I was pretty young, but it shook the entire world, but not as much Europe as it did the US. like for us, we felt that in like aviation shit got more paranoid, and like public transportation in general got more paranoid, and big events. But that said, like we didn't like have like a crisis everywhere. Like, but
Right.
most of that is just I've been told because I was pretty young. But what happened in Europe? What was like also a big event that I think none of like Americans realized is 2015. We had a big like immigration crisis that is still ongoing, that we still have troubles with. And so that is also like that is, at least here in Germany, we use it as a landmark. Like, yeah, before that, it was better, and after that, all the immigrants came in, stole our jobs, crashed our economy, everything got more expensive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because you talked about events that are like landmarks to people, so immigration crisis 2015 is a big one, at least here in Europe. Because like we got a lot of like political and war like immigrants from Syria and Afghanistan, Iraq, because of the wars there and the following financial crisis.
Right.
And it got to that point where like some villages had more immigrants than actual Germans.
Right. Exactly.
Because here, for example, my village, we are 16 Germans and almost 30 immigrants. So
some of our cities have more immigrants
yes,
than natives now in the UK.
like entirety of Europe has this problem. Like I don't think the US ever realized that we had this problem.
And
it's not just Germany, UK. It's also Sweden. It's France. It's Italy. It's Spain. Like, we all have the same problem.
See,
And that's why we use it.
Yeah. Yeah, no. I can imagine. Like, because Europe is so interconnected. Okay, like and under the EU, I think if I recall correctly, once you get into the EU, you're kind of almost free to go anywhere in the EU at that point.
Yes.
And so it's not the same thing as Canada or the United States, where really you have to cross so much water to get there. Once you're in Canada or in the United States, there are places you can go to cross the border. But if you're going to try to cross the border at an unmarked crossing spot, you're actually having to go right into the wild. Okay, like it's actually kind of dangerous for you. People die doing that every year. Okay, like it's actually quite sad. But that's the, therein lies the peace. The only one that is kind of the exception is United States with Mexico, and Mexico does have a guard, or there is a border. But like that's a whole other different discussion in that particular case with respect to that. And yeah, that's starting to become, yes, a very, very painful point in the United States at this point. So
you have to visit Europe. Our borders are usually 2 police cars of each country, and that's the border.
That's it. Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's like, for example, the border from Germany to Austria. It's a bridge. There's one German police car, one Austrian police car there, and that's the border. You just drive through. Or walk through, whatever. Like, no checks, no nothing. That's European Union for you.
I'm just going to simply say, it has its good and it has its bad,
Yes,
as all changes do. Okay, so I'm going to stop there. I think, Bunny, you said that you didn't have anything. What about you, Casey?
Honestly, would probably also have to say COVID, but like, I don't know. It didn't. I mainly feel like just everything before COVID, like the productivity of the world, the way that it functioned, the way that people interacted with each other, it all just seemed to have like a way about it. And now it just seems like everybody's just, they're just existing, they're just moping around. There are certain people that are doing things, but they're, I don't know, you have to be like headstrong to continue on. I don't know, maybe.
Oh, wow. Well, that's a great observation.
I just feel like people don't really have a sense of direction anymore. And not only that, but they don't want to do anything with the state that the world's in. I mean, even if we did have a way to do anything, think about it. Our generation, if we were to have children, they would be living through the most terrible thing. We think our lives are bad? Think about the lives our children are going to have, or their children. They're going to be seeing the end of civilization, if not right at the brink of it.
Wow. Okay. I'm just gonna say that's great observations, and that's an interesting forecast. Okay, so like I put that out there, and we'll touch on that coming back. So I'm kind of just like processing what you've just said in that case, because that's really important. Okay, last person, Frofidor, have you got an idea on that?
Yeah, sorry. I'm like going back and forth to my work laptop. I mean, yeah, I'd say what everyone's listed so far, pretty impactful, but I think for me it was 9/11 that was more impactful.
Okay.
I was like 10 or 11 so far, and I just remember looking at like the TVs in the school. I was like, it was in the middle of the school day, and my dad was actually working in downtown Manhattan at the time, so he was pretty close to being in ground zero. He got out and went home pretty quickly though. Yeah, he worked in a couple buildings away. It's pretty crazy. Funny enough, I was on top of the World Trade Center about like 4 months before 9/11 fell, so I was like up on top looking over the edge. It was just some field trip, like, oh yeah, these are the buildings, yeah. And then it's like kind of crazy. Like I felt like it was, seeing this thing happen, it was just like, for a long time after that, subconsciously, I think it really affected me in ways I couldn't really comprehend. I was waking up in the middle of the night and like waking my parents up and saying I can't sleep. I didn't really know why. I just was like awake, and I was just like attentive. I wasn't worried or scared. I was just like not sleeping. Then I started seeing like a child therapist for a bit. I didn't really understand what that was for, but I think it helped. And then just like as I'm getting older and becoming a teenager, slowly learning more about how the world works and how politics work, and vertigo for sure. But just kind of like seeing that, the world was just constantly falling apart. Every year something worse would come out. I watched a lot of The Daily Show growing up, and like it was pretty evident. Yeah, so like look at Jon Stewart tear apart,
the white hair that grew so quickly.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, yeah. That guy has seen so much.
That's it.
It's just like, I don't know, every year it was just like, oh, people in power are making everything worse, and this terrible, terrible thing that happened and affected everyone was basically a benefit for pretty awful people to take advantage of this situation and say like, well, this is an excuse. That means we can spy on every American, we can go to war whenever we want, we can destroy everything for our benefit. It was just like constant downhill ever since then. I think everyone says nostalgia is like that feeling of like yearning to go back. And I'd say everything was pretty great up until I think that point. And, that's when I entered like preteen, adolescence, and then everything was just like, you know, everything was downhill from there. So yeah, that was pretty impactful. I'd say COVID wasn't even as bad somehow. I'm already like shut in. I don't go out much, so it wasn't a big deal for me.
Same.
Wow.
I just went back to school actually, and it was like a
Wow,
partial
you're all
open
so
campus. Yeah,
I got
figured I'll get a job after this whole thing's over, which ended up happening. But yeah,
Sorry, Casey, go ahead.
very interesting.
How
Yeah.
have you, like, with how that affected you, have you found yourself having to take steps back and try not to focus on the world, or do you still focus on everything going on, keep up with all the political tension and war tension around everything?
Yeah, I mean,
Because I couldn't. It got to a point where it was making me too irritable. It was making me not be able to socialize with people, and I just had to cut it all out.
it's a balancing act, I think. For me, I don't find myself completely avoiding all news. I'm still browsing headlines pretty often. Like, yeah, I'm up to date on the Hanavirus or whatever it's called, I think. Just because it feels weird to be completely uninformed. But I will say I'm pretty often, you know, taking a step back, and when I'm not like browsing Reddit or news cycles or whatever, I'm trying to just forget about how the world is outside, and you know, I don't really focus much about it. There's not really a lot of benefit to it as much as some people might think. Like, sure, I could be really up to date and educated on everything happening, but I'm just being educated on how fucked everything is, so I don't think that's helpful.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. It's kind of, yeah, it's intense. I wish I could just like not, I wish I could take a break.
You keep a close enough tab to see what all's going on, but you don't dive in deep enough to like actually get invested.
It's hard to not be invested. I think if it involves some sort of like, what does this mean? Something to take away from it. I find myself browsing comment sections a lot and bonding with a bunch of other random strangers on the internet that are just as angry, and I can go, okay, I'm not alone. This is awful. At least everyone knows it's awful, so I can.
And Mary puts out that I rely on YouTubers to keep me politically informed, which adds a buffer to the starkness sometimes. An interesting way. You know what? I'm going to restrain comment on myself at that point, because what I want to do is kind of share the conversation I had with this person. Later on had it with other people too, but the person that I talked to, the younger person, they felt that their impactful global event was the subprime bubble of 2008 that took place. It was to them the thing that was different between one day to the other, because for him, he always thought that, you know, you're going to get a job. The job is going to be similar to what, you know, people were doing now, and we're never going to lose the job so long as you did a good job at your job. And then in 2008, he was watching people getting laid off because the economy was going into a downturn, and that was a shock. That was just a shock to him. It wasn't just that you were losing, you had to stop spending money. It was that you could lose your livelihood. You could lose your house. You could lose other things. And I thought that was interesting. And so I came back and I said, and I mean this still honestly. Oh, sorry, go ahead, Mary. Loss of job, security. Yes, exactly. The idea that what the world that you thought was simple, which was you worked hard, you did a good job, you kept up with things, suddenly that was shattered. And for that person, and at that age, I guess that had an impact on him. For me, as odd as this one sounds, need to go, okay, you bet, bunny, take care.
Funny.
For me, the day that was different for me was actually the fall of the Berlin Wall. Okay, it was the Berlin Wall and call it the East German Wall, and the decline of the Soviet Union. I was I'm going to say in my late 20s when that took place. And that was
philosopher that said like that's the end of history. Like at that point, everything after it is just like I forget what the actual term was, but that was something I remember. The Berlin Wall is like the end of all history. Everything after it is just like a random chain reaction of stuff.
Well then, and I have to say that as a child who grew up in the Cold War, this was a significant event to me. I'm not saying that that's, and again, it comes right back to, it's about you as an individual and how you perceive a change in the world at that point. For me, it was a very hopeful situation because when I talked to this person about, 2008, I had to tell them, I thought of 2008 as just another recession. We've been through so many of them. Yes, there is no such thing as job security to me by that point in time, but it wasn't to him. And that was actually a very important thing, that he hadn't lived through that before. And yet I had lived through it a number of times. And so I'm minimizing what it should have been, but that's the wrong thing for me to do. It's where I should respect what they had felt at that moment. So now what I'm going to do, how do I do this again? Oh yeah, that's it. I'll get to my next slide. Generally, okay. So, and print it. Oops, wrong one. There we go. And this one is about, why can't I remember what it is? Oh yeah, generational differences are intercultural differences. You can even live in the same neighborhood and have decades between you, and you live in two different cultures. Okay, and that's an important thing for a lot of people to understand. What was the other one? And oh yes, no one culture rules everything. Even if we have the majority, no one culture should a person should not feel that their culture rules another culture. They exist. They actually did exist, and they exist because they are the right set of experiences that took place for a person over their very formative period. So, like, you can't do that. That should actually pan out at times to where, Casey, I think, is AFK, but where Casey has said, there was a time that you start feeling like people are kind of keeping to themselves, or they're not relating to each other the way they used to. And the answer is yes, that's part of now that cultural experience. Whereas I kind of look at it and say, well, that's always been a challenge. The answer is yeah, but it feels different at that point. And I get that. So that's an important thing. Now, the last one, I think, the point. Sorry, go ahead, Mary. You seem to be cutting. Oh, shoot. Am I? Okay. Okay. No.
It's intermittent. It's not
subtle.
It's not terrible, but
it's fine.
it's definitely pronounced.
Sorry about that. Okay. Yeah, it might be that, internet connection or whatever at this point. So I just brought my microphone up a little more. But the thing is that the last is respect. Okay, I think what I said there is respect of the individual is in all cultures. It's just that sometimes when one person feels like they need to justify or be, or what is the word, be an apologist to their culture, okay, to say, well, my culture is the right culture. Well, then they try to push it off and they do some things that are kind of disrespectful. Well, technically, they are actually moving against their own culture that way, because no culture, in my opinion, maybe, and it's not necessarily a culture, it could be sorry, let me put it to you this way, this sounds stupid, but culture will respect people who are outside of their culture, okay? But a cult will not respect people outside of their own cult. And
Can I repeat that back? Because you were cutting out and it seems really interesting. So a culture will respect other cultures, but a cult will not.
Correct.
Interesting.
So, like, I kind of feel like that's an important thing, because then if that person isn't really helping you or isn't actually respecting you, then they're coming from a very different place than you are. And maybe it's when we ask curious questions from that person that we can actually get back to that that activity of connecting. And I think that's important. So anyway, I'm just going to stop it there, because, you know, we are at like 10 minutes beforehand, before the end of the event. And just going to ask, like, does anybody have anything that they want to kind of wrap up with, or say that they didn't get a chance to say yet? Oh, hey, it does. Okay, great.
I like that I'm remembering to raise my hand. Okay. I'm really sitting with that. I appreciate it. I also appreciate that we just happen to be in a swamp, because I like that I used to spend a lot of time with a wildlife biologist who loved swamps. Wetlands were his thing, right? And he could go to different swamps and smell them, and he could somehow tell. It was like his special power was to smell the stink of a swamp and be able to tell me, and he had just spent so much time around them, how healthy the swamp was, because he would go measure the swamp, like liquids and whatever, and so he could tell how much pollution was going on to some degree. He could feel it, and so I would smell one wetland and another, and I'd be like, ugh, both feel ugh. And he felt like one to him smelled as good as the stew I would make, and the other one felt really dangerous, and he'd be like, don't go near the water. And so what I learned over time was that, like, swamps work. They're supposed to exist. They're important because they break down a lot of life, and they put it back into the primordial soup that rebirths life. And yet when we dump our refrigerators and our pollution into them, it basically shuts down that cycle that has been growing and rebalancing over a long time. So I think about cults like these kind of vats, they're these siloed swamps that don't have diverse exposure coming in to rebalance them. And so they don't know how to respect what's outside of them, because they've gotten so infatuated or habituated to only respect what's inside the space. And so that curiosity doesn't turn outward anymore. It turns almost predatory, or, what is it? It turns opportunistic, right? So I'm always looking about how do I get you to join me, versus how do I learn from you and just like be with you? So that word respect, to me it's the practice of adjusting our lens and not putting ourselves above somebody, just understanding something different a little bit more. And I like your statement because I think it takes the romanticized or kind of like terror out of what a cult is and just makes it like a stinky swamp that doesn't have enough exposure to the other swamps.
Good. That's actually a great analogy. That's cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
We
There
accidentally
go.
ended up here, and thanks for rolling with that.
Yeah, that's it.
Because I think it's a great metaphor of like, how do we grow respect for other cultures, and when does that turn problematic? Where there's that paradox of we should tolerate everybody's perspective, but then there's perspectives that are very intolerant of everybody's perspective. And so we get into a pretzel in our minds because it's like, oh, well, I can see where you're coming from and it's wrong because it doesn't respect everyone. And how does that journey create an avenue for like enrichment and more respect without condoning or accepting perspectives that create silos and toxicity and imbalances?
Right. Cool. Awesome. I feel like the world is experiencing an incultification. Yeah, I wouldn't disagree with you on that. That it's my, like, this is the swamp, or come to my swamp, I'm not going to yours. And very
Yours
good
isn't a
point.
real swamp. Yeah.
Okay, I'm just being conscious of the time. We have 5 minutes left. There is one last slide, and it's actually about the next session. So it's more like, now, first and foremost, so I'm looking, like, we started off at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I think that's 8 p.m. your time, Mary, and I think that's 9 p.m. your time, Lucas. Is that right? Does that work for people at this point? Like, I realize that some people are joining, like, it might not work. Like, it's just a question whether, if it is working, okay, then okay. Mary, works for me. Okay, good. So we'll schedule the next one for 3 p.m. again. Realize that I think we have a meeting of the advisory committee, just like a hard stop at 4. So for my time, your time is different. Okay, so that's a different meeting that they're actually attending. The second is the next topic. So I kind of have a list there. Oh, sorry. I have a list there of the topics. And now the next one is going to be actually about strangeness, and I'm going to bring some slides of Japan, where I was. So there's why I thought there were some interesting and what I call strange things going on there. Also, by the way, because I'm doing a sermon on that this coming Sunday, so it'll help me with that too. So, but then, yeah, I know. But the other is then other topics come up. So I've got here, they're the standard ones that always go out some form of controversy or shake up the discussion, like religion, gender identity, sexual orientation, neural conditions. So the idea of, okay, so let's think about how we do treat people who have various degrees of their neural condition or neuro identity. And then music, okay, like actually that one comes to mind. Okay, this sounds like a way crazy one, but it's where. Oh, sorry, KCC, you got back. Okay, sorry.
You're good.
Just these are the like next one is changes. But the thing is that for music, I was thinking holding it in like a karaoke instance.
Oh, cool. I love
that we could sing a song that means something to us. Okay. And then just share that. Now, of course, nobody has to sing. I've got a couple of songs, but I've got actually way too many songs.
It's a Ronin concert.
Oh, Ronin concert. Yeah. Want to see how fast the rats leave the sinking ship? Okay, like
nice.
In that case, but
it's counters the hantavirus. So
yes, exactly, precisely.
Protector.
Okay, so are there any other topics that people would rather cover?
This is your moment, everyone.
Yeah.
You got a unicorn asking you if there's topics you want to hear about. Gotta fess up. I mean, what else do you call a Ronin in a magical swamp forest?
Differences in values between family. Okay.
Oh, that's a good one.
Oh, that's a really good one. Okay, that's a cool one. Okay.
Oh,
what about technology prejudice? So iPhone, Androids, or Quest, PC VR.
Okay.
Yeah.
We could try to
You
look at
really
that.
want to do with this discussion?
What'd you say? Yeah, well, but I think it is. But I think it'd be really interesting to hear from an elder on this and have them guide us in that discussion. It might feel different. Yeah.
Okay.
You want me to
there
go say hello to them?
Oh, they're coming over, or rather, I see them over
I
there.
gotta drop. Have
Okay.
fun,
All right. Take care from
See ya.
Fedora.
Thank you.
This is awesome.
Bye-bye.
This was great. I wanna
Grandpa
come back.
helping me. Listen.
Nice.
Don't forget. For the longest time with my parents, I had to help them with reprogramming the VCR. Okay, every time the power went out or they unplugged it, you had to reprogram the timer. the clock.
Oh, yeah.
So that's
Gotta wind the clock every
funny.
day.
I remember.
Oh my God, Mary's just as
There
old
we
as you
go.
are.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, I did that too. When I
When
was
the
a
power
kid.
went out, that's it. Yeah. All the clocks had to be reset.
Well, let's get a little photo with Ronin.
Oh, yes,
this was such a
exactly.
gift. Ronin,
Well, thank you.
where shall we get a photo with you?
Let's see. How about in front of the here?
Okay,
Does that look okay?
that works.
Mhm.
Gotta get myself to stand up here. There we go.
Wouldn't it be better over there because better background? Like if you
Oh.
face.
Okay. Well, we could do that.
Like here, facing back. Yeah,
Right here.
facing there.
Right here? Okay.
Oh, nice.
My hand. Something.
Ready for
Yeah.
for photography.
Oh, dear.
I like it. Okay. I'll grab my camera. This would also be good for you to learn Ronin at some point. I don't know if you've done this before.
What, the camera? Using
Mhm.
getting a picture? Yeah, I've done that.
Good. Well, just checking. We're learning.
Yep.
I took some good pictures of you. I'll send
Oh,
them to you
good.
on Discord.
Yay! Please post those in our BridgeMakers. Okay. Here we go. 5, 4,
Where's the
3,
camera?
2, 1.
One.
It's right in front of us. Woo! Yay! Aw, so cute.
Cool.
Good deal. Oh, we got dancing. Okay. Thank you, everybody. And thank you, Ronin.
Yep.
So
Oh,
insightful.
well, thank you.
Much gratitude.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Mary, for live streaming
Thank
with
you, Mary.
us. Ooh, we got a photo.
I especially
my
like this
God.
picture I took of Ronin.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
That's hilarious.
Wow. Are you in our server,
No,
Lucas?
I don't
in
think so.
BridgeMakers?
Well, why, I can invite you, Lucas, if
No,
you're
no,
okay
no
with
need.
Please
that.
join us and post
No
it.
need? Okay. Then I will download.
I sent them to you in Discord, so you have them.
Oh, okay. Perfect. Thank you
A
very
bunch,
much.
bunch of them.
Okay.
Thank you, Ronan. We'll
All right.
see you
Thank you.
next
Thank you.
week.